Needed one like this. Mariners win 9-2. They improved to 7-8 on the season, and they've taken 2 of the first 3 against the Texas Rangers. Go over the scoring plays. Doesn't start out so great. Josh Smith singles to center with nobody out to score Marcus Semien to make it 1-0. We'll talk about how the magical job that Bryan Woo did in a second to get out of that inning and every other inning as well. Third inning, the Mariners get 4. Julio Rodriguez triples to left to score J.P. Crawford. Jorge Polanco hits a sacrifice fly to score Julio. Big Dumper scores on a passed ball by Jonah Heim. And Luke Raley doubles to left to score Randy Arozarena. 4-1 at the end of 3. It becomes 5-1 at the end of 5 because Big Dumper homers for the second straight game, makes it 5-1. 7th inning, Luke Raley reaches on an infield single and 2-run score. That makes it 7-1. And then Rowdy Tellez, so close to a triple, scores Raleigh and Raley. Rowdy Tellez is out at third base because he is super slow. That would have been an inside the park homer for a lot of players. 9-1. And then in the 9th inning, Jake Berger singles to left to score Josh Young. 9-2. Mariners win. Awesome. I don't think there's any negatives to talk about in this game. Nope. So let's just move on to Simply Seattle, the very best in Seattle sports gear. Great stuff for the Mariners, of course, but the Seahawks, the Supersonics, the Kraken, the Huskies, the Rainiers, the Sounders, the Storm, you can find it all at Simply Seattle and use code MOLLYWOP15, MOLLYWHOP15. Takes 15% off your order, and it's a great deal from great people. Please support local businesses. MOLLYWHOP15. Thank you so much, Simply Seattle. Okay, so I'm going to be honest with you. I was prepared for a not because Bryan Woo in the first inning was garbage. It was as poor as I've seen him pitch. Everything was middle. And look, Bryan Woo attacks the strike zone because he trusts his fastball. He trusts the movement on it. He trusts that his command is going to be good enough that you're not going to be able to get hard contact on it and you're going to swing through it a lot because there's so much carry on that pitch. And there's, he has the 4-seamer, he has the 2-seamer. I'm talking really fast. He has the 4-seamer, he has the 2-seamer. He can beat you. He was middle, and so middle in that first inning. It could have been much worse. And what's funny is it starts with a walk. He gives up a walk. He gives up 3 straight hits. Now, one of those hits is Luke Raley just doesn't have great defensive instincts. Julio's probably just got to knock people out of the way. That's absolutely the right fielder's ball, but Julio just cut in front. Take everything from everyone. It's totally fine. They will forgive you. That's as good as I've seen him pitch after the first inning, though. There was so much life to the fastball. The command was so much better. He was an ace tonight. Man, I know we get so frustrated with this Mariner offense, and we'll talk about how good it was tonight. But getting to watch these starting pitchers, with the exception of Luis F. Castillo, has been, and, Emerson Hancock's one disaster of a start. Outside of that, we're so blessed. It is a privilege to watch these guys pitch. Now, it doesn't excuse the lack of spending. It doesn't excuse the lack of moves. On the contrary, in fact, those moves lack of moves become even more frustrating because you have the chance to waste the starting pitching, and they absolutely wasted it last year. There's no other way to put it. They wasted it. But that doesn't mean you can't appreciate getting to watch these starters every night. Well, when George Kirby comes back every night, we'll see what happens. But man, Woo was good. So impressive. He's so much better. And I've said so way too many times now. He is markedly better than I expected him to be. I liked him. I thought he would be a quality back end starter. Oh my goodness, is he better than that? And then some. You can't ask. And here's the thing. And I thought the announcers did a great job bringing this up. They needed somebody to get deep into this game. They needed to have somebody give them 7 quality innings, and he did just that. He probably could have gone another, to be honest. But I get it. 9-run game. Use Eduardo Bizardo. I feel bad for you, man. I think you're going to get used in 115 games this year, but he gets the job done. Gregory Santos didn't look great. If there's a real concern I have outside of this offense, it's that they need Matt Brash back so bad. So very, very bad. Or to make a move. Because Gregory Santos isn't a high leverage reliever. There's one guy I trust right now in high leverage. Maybe two if you want to go with Gabe Spire. But I've seen Gabe Spire get off to hot starts and then struggle last year. I saw it last year. So there's one guy I truly trust. And it's so nice to finally get a win where you don't have to use Andres Munoz. Oh, so nice to see these guys. Because Gregory Santos he's just not a high leverage guy. He pitched like one in 2023. But I've seen nothing, and on top of being hurt, of course, but I don't think he's a high leverage guy. Not on a playoff team. And the Mariners should be a playoff team. Some real nice offensive games today. J-Rod, okay, the triple probably just should have been a double, but showing off them wheels. And then the infield hit, didn't crush it, puts the ball in play with them wheels. It's great to see. You look at his batting average of 190, and sure, Julio Rodriguez doesn't want to hit 190, and I can guarantee you he won't hit 190. But he's getting on base at a good clip, and he's driving the baseball. That is the most important thing for me, is that Julio Rodriguez feels comfortable driving the baseball. I don't care if his whiff rate is 70%. If he's driving the baseball, I can deal with it. I want to see those adjustments as he matures, as we get mature into the season even. But the most important thing for me is seeing Julio Rodriguez drive the gosh dang baseball, and he's doing just that. Miles Mastrobuoni has looked good at the plate. Now, he's never going to make hard contact. In fact, quite the opposite. But he's had some nice at-bats. He's put the ball into play. Do I want Miles Mastrobuoni starting at third base? Obviously not. And you still look at the 6, 7, 8, and it's beyond pathetic. All due respect to Rowdy Tellez, who, hey, he's driven the ball 2 games in a row. That's great to see. The other at-bats have looked awful, and I'm ready to move on, if I'm being completely honest. But Miles Mastrobuoni has a place on a roster. I really like that move because he can play a bunch of places, and he puts the ball in play for the most part. The Mariners don't have a lot of guys who can do that. So he has a place on a roster. Starting third baseman should not be it. Starting second baseman should not be it. But he serves a purpose, and he's done a very nice job in his limited action thus far. J.P. Crawford gets on twice, scores a couple of runs. There's zero power from him whatsoever so far, but he's making pitchers work, and he's being that second leadoff hitter. He's being that guy who gets on base when Julio's coming up to the plate. I'll take it. I would love to see him drive the baseball more. Sure, of course. I love to answer easy questions that I ask myself. But I think his year has actually been a success. A couple of really nice defensive plays, some plays that I think he should have gotten to, but I'll take it. His on base percentage is like 375 now. If he can get on at a 350 clip, great. Great game from Luke Raley. Awesome to see. Luke Raley is really important for the Seattle Mariners, especially with the injury to Robles, because if he can be an everyday right fielder, now you need to find a platoon for him in right field. I think it probably should be Dylan Moore after you go trade for a second baseman or a third baseman or both. But Luke Raley's perfectly fine in the corner outfield defensively. And if he can be the guy he was for the majority of 2024 against right-handed pitching, that's going to be a major, major help. That's an obvious point as well. But Luke Raley's taken some horrific at-bats against right-handers and left-handers. If he can be that legitimate fifth hitter for you, and Polanco, who didn't have a great game today, but did drive in a run. So we'll take that. But if he could be a legitimate fifth batter, if this can be your top five, and they all put together what they're capable of, or not even what they're capable of, a semblance of what they're capable of. It's got to be more than that. But you know what I'm saying, right? I don't need Jorge Polanco to be the best seasons he had with the Twins. I don't need Randy Arozarena to be the best seasons he had with the Rays. But I need them to be close to that. If you can get that from your top five and then can address the bottom of the order, you've got a chance to be a really good baseball team. I'm not sure about a great one. That would take some significant moves. But I think you have a chance to be a really good baseball team. I just want this offense to be average. And tonight it was well beyond average. Now, did Kumar Rocker struggle with his command? As I ask myself another easy question. Oh my goodness gracious, yes. He also saw some really nice pitches. He's got a bright future in this league, and he's someone I'm rooting for. But they took advantage of it. They took advantage of the poor command, and they put together a very, very strong offensive game. I loved it. I loved it. And it was so awesome to see just it didn't look like it was going to be after the first inning. In fact, it looked like it might be the opposite because of how much in the middle of the plate Bryan Woo was. But it was so nice to see them just control the game from the third inning on. We haven't seen that all year. Nobody's asking for them to win by 7 every game. But more of this would be just wonderful for our mental well-being. Now, you got the first two. You have got such a great chance for a sweep, and I want that sweep. I want that sweep. This is already a successful homestand. Taking 4 of 2 against your top division rivals is a successful homestand. Guys, if you go 4-2, you will go 108-54 on the season. If you do that 27 times, that's pretty good. I want the sweep. After that disappointing, to say the least, series against the Giants, to bounce back, to come back home, and to get that 5-1 and that sweep. That would be great. And guess what? You got Logan Gilbert on the mound. One of the very best pitchers in baseball. But I want that sweep. I want that sweep. Get back to 500 before this 9-game road trip. It's going to be a tough road trip. Cincinnati's pitching the baseball so well. Toronto, obviously, has given the Mariners trouble. And then in Boston, where lots of bad things have happened over my lifetime for your Seattle Mariners. But to get back to 500 before that 9-game trip would just be, it would be good. I would be really, really happy. I would also be really happy if you hit like and subscribe. I appreciate the support so much. This was fun. This was truly, I think, I had fun at the end of last night. I've had fun at the end of a few other games. But this is the most fun I've had watching a Seattle Mariner game in the year of our Lord, 2025.